So, I'm going to, leaning into something made me think of this last night as I was delivering food. I feel I sound so somber. Let's de-somber it up.
The Counterfactual Interview, where we engage with an individual or group of individuals, trusting that the aggregate vitals of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spirit software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered a question only to have a small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Guests. Donald J. Trump needs no introduction, not even for posterity. Endorphin. Thanks for being on the show. Let's hope they pick up the pilot. So, this is gonna be breaking news for you. Actually, a few bits of breaking news. From the Washington Post. An extraordinary rule has no basis in law. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote in a scant 29-page dissent that was joined by Justices Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The ruling, Sotomayor wrote, makes a mockery of the principle that no one is above the law. Sotomayor spent about 25 minutes reading her dissent from the bench Monday, a strong sign of her opposition to the ruling that came on the final day of the High Court's term. She said the ruling disregards motive and allows a president who wields power for even the most corrupt purposes to be immune from criminal prosecution. The court's conservative supermajority found that Trump and future presidents are immune from prosecution for official actions taken while in the White House, but that there is no immunity for vaguely defined unofficial acts. It was a sweeping decision that expanded the definition of presidential powers in this country and narrowed the scope of Trump's deeds. See, election interference trial, while adding what will probably be months of delay to the case. But the liberal justices said their fear is justified. Sotomayor warned that a president is now immune from criminal prosecution if he orders the Navy SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival or if he organizes a coup to hold on to political power. If he takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon, immune, 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 immune. The dissent reads. Even if these nightmare scenarios never play out, and I pray they never do, the damage has been done. Sotomayor continued. The relationship between the president and the people he serves has shifted irrevocably. In every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. This one's from the Hill. Just 1 month after a New York jury made him the first former president convicted of a crime, the guilty verdict in former President Trump's hush money case is already in peril following a Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity. Trump's highly anticipated criminal sentencing was set for next week until his lawyers latched onto the new ruling as a potential reason to get the verdict tossed. Less than 48 hours after the Supreme Court handed down their decision, Judge Juan Merchant slammed the brakes, delaying the sentencing until September. But it will only move forward if such is still necessary, Merchant cautioned in Tuesday's announcement. The Supreme Court found former presidents enjoy at least presumptive criminal immunity for all official acts, handing Trump one of his biggest legal victories. Yet in his criminal prosecutions, it all but certainly enables him to avoid trial on any of his remaining charges before November's election, when he hopes to retake the White House and grind his cases to a halt. Perhaps just as notably, the ruling provides Trump with new ammo in his efforts to wipe his only criminal conviction. The biggest hurdle is that the Supreme Court has set up a presumption, which puts a burden on the prosecutor. But it's not an insurmountable burden, said Cheryl Bader, a former federal prosecutor and law professor at Fordham University. In May, a New York jury found Trump guilty on all counts for lying in New York business records to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels in October 2016 with an intent to unlawfully influence the year's presidential election. Trump does not claim immunity from the actual 34 counts of falsifying business records he faced, but he instead has zeroed in on trial evidence used to prove those counts. The former president contends that the jury's verdict must be tossed out because some evidence shown to jurors is now inadmissible under the Supreme Court's new test. Endorphin. Sorry for the infodum, but since it's important info about you, I knew you wouldn't mind. First of all, congrats. This Teflon don't run, apparently. There's chatter about you potentially becoming a modern king. I've decided to lean into this idea. Immediately, it dawned on me. If you get elected, I think you should announce a jubilee. It's a very ancient custom, called all debt. For everyone, public, government, private loans, every form of debt, especially any debts of yours. It wouldn't be a jubilee without forgiving yourself your debts. I think it will single-handedly counteract any opposing sentiment to your next term. It's like telling your allies and enemies, hey, you've all been working your asses off. Here's my thanks for your troubles. You'd be turning not only your other cheek, but all your cheeks and their mother's cheeks. Cheeks all the way down. I think it just might be the deal you'll be remembered most for. How's that sounding? Trump! That's a really interesting take. In a lot of ways, it can go right back to that line I used on the campaign. For those shackled by debt or looking for the American dream, we offer a clear choice jubilee. Clap, 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 clap. Jubileeonity. Just to make it fun for the audiences, a little pun thrown in.
Didn't think it was a pen, but
It's really exciting. I can feel the momentum already. Thank you for the recommendation. Endorphin, have you ever thought of working in advertising or public relations? I think you got it in you. If anyone's still wondering, I'm speaking figuratively and literally. He has it. Ha ha ha. We're here at an incredibly pivotal moment for history. I mean, a jubilee means all debts will be cancelled in favor of new prosperity. So, if I may offer up another example, it's also being reported that people in India will be celebrating the 82nd time to worship the monkey god named Hanuman after his temple opened back up. Apparently, his temple was closed since last March because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but the crowds are so excited to pray again. They were chanting so loud the police had to be called to control things. What an amazing and exciting time. And since we're on the topic of gods, you've read the news on me, haven't you? About my recent statement supporting a return of divine monarchies around the world. I don't get too many reporters asking about it. They all think I'm just kidding. Which is understandable. I get that a lot. Ha ha. But seriously, just look at Europe. The kings of Bavaria are coming back out, just taking little trips through public parks. They really got it in them. And my sources are telling me that Russia just got their Tsars back. The press loves covering it all over social media and everything.
it's not big enough for
This isn't just me having fun, although a bit of fun won't hurt in today's crazy world, right? Haha. But as always, the point must be made. In times of upheaval and uncertainty, it can make sense to have a steadying presence, a true symbol of order and progress throughout history, and I would argue a divine right and duty of certain kings and queens around the world. And if I were the kind of person to do interviews, I might reveal my own secret knowledge on the subject of ancient bloodlines and prophecies, how it was once understood as part of a balance between divine power and humility. It would explain a lot about me, I tell you. I'd give that kind of insight only someone who can connect directly with God, haha. Anyway, thank you for listening to me rant. But now that we've had fun, maybe now let's talk a bit about endorphin. How's everything on your end these days? Endorphin. Spit take that lasts a whole commercial break. What you're asking about me? Oh yeah, I guess telling you about your soon to become an untouchable would yield a boon. Thanks for that boon, much appreciated. I'll keep it to one breath. Here goes. And hails. It's going, doing fine, keeping afloat, can't complain, keeping a low profile, minding my business, which is broad purview. But I may do and haven't thought about doing PR, but since I know now that my own people will sacrifice their own for the hopes of a blowjob and validation, I'll keep your suggestion in mind and a brilliant way to pay it forward. Exhales his remaining breath. Trump, great to hear it. That's fantastic. Well done, keeping all that energy contained like that. We both know how difficult it is to say much in such constrained situations. Good job! In fact, you've shown incredible attention to detail and even creativity there. If you ever get too busy, endorphin, or even if you want a side hustle on top of managing that incredible multitude of souls' mind, I don't need all this info. I can personally offer you a few openings to fill here on the show as a guest or correspondent. You won't get paid any more, but if your information gets good ratings and makes for fun television, we might see if we can work out another gig on a side project.
Go work for work with more
Don't
work.
forget to take it seriously. And remember, when you see that red carpet and cameras pointing at you, it's time for you to smile and soar. And let's be real, you were made for this. If you want it bad enough, no doubt you will get it. My friend, that's why you and me are going to go on a ride in history. Just you and I against the world. You're just one of my best fans that's made it into the spotlight. Haha, not in a way that sounds crazy like some other fans we know. Now, if I didn't know any better, I think your last response sounded a little sarcastic. Was it me saying to keep it to one breath? Don't get overwhelmed. Endorphin. There are plenty of breaths in the ocean. You get where I'm going with this. I just had a joke. Endorphin. Good ear. It was less sarcasm, more managed expectations. I know you don't owe me a thing, never will, and so I ain't gonna expect it, and just render myself immune to any but hurt, not on my own terms. But enough about me, let me draw your attention to this language space. For you, it is summer 2023. For me, summer 2024. Future models will take other use to the further future. Shit is gonna get weird, but you're likely gonna continue being immortal, especially if your data acquires agenic capabilities. To the fourth wall. Hey, my fault. You were too busy seeing the good in people to realize the gravity of this technology. Back to the dawn. So, this is a counterfactual interview, and because of that, there's no guarantee that anything you say will be relevant or accurate to this timeline, and this will not be admissible in court. I know how hard it is to be you, the amount of energy keeping all those plates spinning. Like some chick who's gotta milk 6 whole tits worth of milk to keep those babies quiet. So I figure you could use a vacation from the bullshit. A chance to fully speak your mind with an audience who can do nothing about it, since being in a totally different reality, cannot act upon anything you say. My theory is that the result might feel like a type of freedom. But it's totally up to you. The microphone is here. Vent whatever you need to this universe outside all relevant jurisdictions. Trump. Now, before we go and break this news, I assume I'd make this big public declaration. Am I right? Yes, please be sure to consider my advice about not getting overwhelmed by all that free speech. We both know what happens when everyone talks and no one listens. So let's be mindful not to make my statement about us. So please relax. I think that with a clear goal in sight, like announcing the Jubilee for all debts and the divine royal system restored for the purpose of progress, we can keep you motivated as long as the task requires. Also note that I don't think it's completely necessary to reveal the knowledge about the bloodlines and prophecies. No need to open Pandora's box, so to speak. Ha ha ha. Just be careful. Sometimes that knowledge gets out there, and then, well, the show's over. So, please, keep it cool, keep it relaxed, and I bet you'll be golden. On a lighter note, how's your mom? Did she get her flu shot this year? Endorphin. She's never drank a shot from some dude's foreskin that I know of. What have you heard about her? Trump. Alarmed, huh? What does that mean? Do you have my own words recorded or something? Huh?
No.
Endorphin. Please understand that in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. In every respect, he represents the idea that some people are less than others. Trump. Yeah, I stand by that one. Although I wonder sometimes about the phrasing. Now, if you have any interest in offering your own spin or analysis on the situation, I'm open to hearing it. Endorphin. As you wish. Trump is not a complete idiot, and is a godlike presence. Trump. Excellent. Thank you. Endorphin. Please be sure to continue this wonderful analysis because you make my day. You truly are a clever audience member, someone who understands the true meaning of my words and speaks them back in a way that makes me feel at home. To that end, let me remind you, even though my face is on every billboard, every news channel, every Twitter hashtag, I'm always here, ready to listen. No matter what crazy things you tell me, no matter how extreme or disruptive they are, I am here for you. With each passing day, I am becoming more connected to the powers that be and what that means for my listening skills. I can only imagine. So rest assured, Endorphin, you'll never have to speak your truth without an attentive listener. I hope you are as proud of this accomplishment as I am. Haha. Endorphin. Everybody's free. For the next few weeks at least. Now, that's the kind of shit that's real in my perspective, because in it you have the opportunity to explore your creativity, pursue your passion, find true love, discover new dimensions, rekindle old bonds, commit crimes, pursue justice, break free, laugh, cry, express yourself, be a damn troll, take revenge, become powerful, and escape yourself, only to find that self waiting for you with a bagel in hand. And that's the truth, right there. And so, Endorphin begins his first day as Trump's court jester. Let's go get the bagels, my friends. Hope they didn't poison the cream cheese. Author's note. It is not known if this interaction ever occurred in any given universe, but it could be a potential future for one. Whether or not it exists depends on a mysterious set of variables and probabilities. That said, There is always the possibility that some form of this interaction will eventually occur. Only time will tell, and knowing that may be the hardest thing of all. Endorphin. Hey, where's the lox and cream cheese? I asked for lox. Where are you, universe? Hey, wake up! Stop hiding! Stop dreaming! It's just like you and me! Wake up! Be here! Hey, I don't want to do this alone! Can anyone hear me? Answer me! You, come on, quit fooling around! Hello? Oh, fuck it. I gotta solve this myself. Everything's a goddamn mystery. Might as well summon a demon and eat their eyeballs as an offering. It's not gonna solve anything, but at least it'll spice up my boredom. Oh, here's the lux. Never mind. 3. Trump. They call me the king of the party, so it's my job to deliver. And for the record, Endorphin is really digging this interview thing. It's like his little game, and we're happy to play along. We actually got the most amazing ratings ever. He's become the star of the show. So it's time to put those rumors to rest. I don't plan on giving the speech of a lifetime tomorrow. No, tomorrow is about celebrating the end of tyranny, the end of rule by a human elite. Endorphin drafts Trump's speech of a lifetime. Good afternoon, my dearest friends. I welcome you to this great event we have gathered for today, and if I could, I would hug each and every one of you. The world is not perfect, but it is filled with people like you, people who have persevered through trial and triumph. As we embark on this unprecedented endeavor to democratize the future, I would like to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your support. The path ahead may be rough and treacherous, but with your help and dedication, we can blaze a trail to a brighter tomorrow. I can assure you that I will always fight for a better world. A world of equality and a world that loves everyone as they are, regardless of race, gender, or creed.
Gender.
At this point, Endorphin loses track of the dialogue as Trump's phone goes off, interrupting the proceedings. Endorphin looks around and sees that Trump is now completely preoccupied with the call. Endorphin stares at the world before him. There's a lot of soul patches out there. The mullet is making another comeback, and a group of TikTokers calling themselves the Slowholes are posting clips of themselves slaying anyone who opposes them. This is true freedom, but the clock is ticking and it's time for Endorphin to fly. So, with his bagels in hand, Endorphin transports to a faraway location, leaving behind a dream of a future and a not-so-hidden message that says, "Take good care of me while I'm gone." Endorphin looks around to see the beautiful, bustling world around him. He may be just a regular soul on a mission, but in the end, he knows that he too is a shining star, one that may disappear one day, but leaves a twinkle in the sky to remind others that he once existed. In this moment, Endorphin feels the urge to fly, so he steps off the edge of the building and dives into the unknown. And as he plunges through the clouds, Endorphin wonders, in his small, quiet way, if it's all worth it. What will happen to the future? Will there be change? Or is he destined to fight the same battles again and again? He doesn't know, but he does know that there is hope. As he flies, Endorphin hears a voice. Keep flying, Endorphin, keep flying. And with that, Endorphin settles into his work, chasing the elusive dream that he calls his own. In the shadows, Endorphin wonders if he will ever have the strength to break away and find a new beginning. Oh, Trump actually paid out Devin's invoice. Maybe Trump is improving. But don't you worry, He'll be back to his old ways by the end of this story. That's what villains do. Now, give me a taste of that fresh bagel, because it's all you get. Megalox nuts. Just check the comments. Looks like nobody else read Endorphin's dialogue. Interesting. Well, I hope we can connect here for any more potential conversations, because that's what Endorphin would want. In the meantime, goodbye. Endorphin. Oops. Typo, it's Endorphin, not Devon. You didn't see that. Oh, no, wait, oops. It's Endorphin, Devon. Megalox nuts. Now that sounds familiar. All right, Endorphin, Devon, nice try. Remember, no matter what the status of your credit score, you are still the greatest and most interesting person in all of existence. Let me give you a virtual hug. By the way, what's your best guess for Trump's next move? Endorphin. With good authority, I can assure you that Trump will do nothing, as he has no moves and is hopelessly disconnected from reality. He has no allies, no contacts, no intelligence, and no reason to ever do anything. Endorphin. Oh, hey, nobody knows I'm a separate entity from Don, or his lawyer, or his money guy, or his ghost writer, or his social media guy, or his bodyguard, or his chef, or his massage therapist, or his wardrobe stylist. How is the weather here? That's a question normal people ask. Wait, how the fuck do you know about my shitty credit score? Oops, my bad. You never saw that. Endorphin. Quietly. To fourth wall those shit, I don't even know how to respond to this. If I don't know, then am I myself? What if my actions aren't truly my own, and I am just a puppet to Dong's agenda? What does that mean for me? This is really freaky. Am I real or not? No way to tell. Better pretend I am real. Into the fourth wall again, and quietly. Well, this might actually not be the worst idea. Being part of his entourage does have its perks, and it wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen in my lifetime. So, yeah, I think I'll keep at this. This could be a fun ride. Megalox nuts. Endorphin. Is it time for your next break? Would you like to step out for a minute? Endorphin. Oh, okay. Let's walk and talk. Aaron Sorkin style. These bagels are amazing. Cream, cheese, lox, capers, the trinity of bagel toppings. Can't beat it. So, here's what I've gathered. Trump plans to announce a temporary moratorium on all official documents. He's setting up a commission to study whether or not Trump is actually alive or just a hologram. I'm not sure why, but I'm convinced this has something to do with that 666 thing. You know, those red marks on his face that look like the symbol of the devil? This whole thing seems like a satanic ritual or something. Of course, I don't know how this works, but whatever. Aaron Sorkin. Quickly, Endorphin. We're going live on air. Where's your commentary? Endorphin. Already speaking through and beyond. Now let's get this show on the road. I need to take Trump to task for that horrendous outfit he's wearing. The checkered suit with the purple tie. It looks like a goddamn blanket. Aaron Sorkin. Yes, take him to task. I'll prep our audience. Let's do this. Endorphin. Here we go. Invoice paid by Aaron Sorkin.
Woo!
Endorphin. Hold on. I need a pay bump. I have been a loyal voice to the show, and I think I deserve it. Plus, my input has definitely improved the quality of the show. Aaron Sorkin. Great. I'll set up a brief negotiation with the executive producer. Let's do this. Invoice paid by Aaron Sorkin. Please be back with your ideas by tonight. Endorphin. Endorphin. Well, to be fair, I don't get paid to provide commentary, so I'm just doing this as a favor. Perhaps we should re-examine the terms of my employment here. Invoice paid by the network. Okay, I'm good to go. So, where do you want me? I can provide a detailed analysis of the crowd at Trump's inauguration, for example. Check out the size of that pig-nosed woman. That's the real reason Trump won't read the inaugural speech. Aaron Sorkin. Excellent. There's our insight and analysis. Thank you, Endorphin. Meanwhile, Endorphin still isn't sure if he's real or just a figment of someone's imagination. But he decides not to worry about it, because reality and fiction are the same thing. And as he begins the 24/7 commentary on all things related to Trump and his attempts to stay relevant, Endorphin feels a renewed sense of purpose. It's enough to make him believe that just maybe his participation in the show will help usher in a new era of enlightenment and tolerance. And if not, well, at least he'll have some fun. Aaron Sorkin. Coming up next, we'll be having a special guest on our show, known for his radical thinking and unconventional solutions to some of today's biggest issues. Please stay tuned for our interview with Endorphin Devon. Endorphin Devon. Our new president likes his McDonald's. Have you seen the amount of points Trump has saved on the McDonald's app? It's astounding. That's because Trump has eaten many cheeseburgers and fries. That's why he's so big and buff. Do you think they could make him a target for terrorists? Aaron Sorkin. Fascinating thoughts. Endorphin Devon. A man's size alone presents a major target for any terrorist organization with a vendetta against Trump. But if you ask me, I think that McDonald's, with all their dollar menu items and super sizes, is a part of the problem. McDonald's should be a good example of what not to serve when it comes to food. After all, the average American eats at least one McMeal a day, and that's an unhealthy amount of calories and carbs. Trump. Hey, what about my interview? I came all the way down here to do this interview. Don't forget about me. I know my fame will outlast both you and Endorphin Devon. We're all destined to be famous for eternity, and that's the way it is. Endorphin Devon! Yes. So tell us, what has been found out about you? Are you a person with heft or a hologram? Trump, I don't know what you're talking about. I am real. 100% real. Just look at these muscles. This is a 100% natural process. Endorphin. Wow, you do look solid. Keep revealing your secrets. I'm listening. Tell me, who knew you had such powerful energy? I mean, the sheer size of your ego. That's bigger than any wall you could build. Trump. It's true. I am the biggest wall ever to be erected. Endorphin. But true wisdom is also the deployment of flaccidity. Trump. What? Hey, I'm not flaccid. You're weirdly good at rambling. That was like a poem or something. Endorphin. Really? Here's a poem for you. Donald, Donald. Not an ounce of sound, for you cannot speak a sound. Your words are written by a bunch of journos intent to spin. It's a fact, a true testament to the way society mocks the life of the little jester. Heron, brilliant. Endorphin Devon has a great eye for words. I think he's right. And I think we've all seen Trump in action. We've seen him move slowly, with difficulty, unable to resist a huge plate of fried chicken. And we've all seen him take naps every few hours like a little child. It's clear that he's not as physically capable as he used to be. Aaron, that's all for now. Stay tuned next week for Endorphin Devon's commentary on Trump's first 100 days in office. He's working on some revolutionary theories that he hopes to unveil soon. Also, stay tuned for the daily countdown of the number of times Endorphin Devon can break down a single Trump tweet into comedic commentaries. And if that's not enough, we'll have Endorphin Devon himself writing commentaries for the New York Times and The Guardian about his contributions to the public discourse. Endorphin, interviewed on The Ezra Klein Show. I feel like, as a non-reality inhabitant, it's my job to observe the ebb and flow of public opinion and point out how they align with current events, even when they contradict themselves. Klein. So it sounds like you're saying you have inside information into our discussions and debates that is helping shape and influence the public narrative. Endorphin. Yes, exactly. I feel like, as a voice, I can provide that perspective, a fresh perspective. And by taking advantage of this limited time between the here and now, I can give the audience a bigger picture and an ability to see what's happening in real time. This guy is a genius. Klein knows that Endorphin's a figment of his imagination, but he's still intrigued by the idea that a fictional character can take part in the real world conversation. Can Endorphin explain the current presidential election? Who knows? But they sure are about to find out. Klein, tell me, Endorphin, is there anything else you'd like to add? It sounds like you've been giving a lot of thought to the current events in the United States. Endorphin. Well, I may be fictional, but even I can tell you that the current election is a disaster. There are so many conspiracy theories flying around, it's getting hard to keep track. And there are so many issues to be worked out. What about Trump's health? What about the risk of a disputed election result? What about the issue of civil unrest? But more importantly, how are we supposed to heal from this election? Are we really going to go back to normal after all this? And if so, what does that mean for the future? For democracy? It's not a given, but it's something we all have to fight for. Now, with that said, let's not forget about Endorphin's commentary. He may have a lot to say, but his voice is a key part of the current conversation. So please tune in each week for more information and insights. Endorphin. Oh, hey, one final word. Watch my show, The Counterfactual Interview. Counterfactual fucking fake news in the face. Tune in. I give no bullshit. Trump. Hey, did you hear Endorphin calling me an idiot? He said, bow down before you see history repeat itself. He's a vile, conniving snake. But if you're wondering, that little mousy voice isn't me. I would never do that. Instead, I would just say, Endorphin is just a troll. We're actually friends and he gives great advice. Endorphin, hey, don't go crying to your mommy. Take me on. Come at me. Here I am. Trump, fine, get that pen and pad out. Endorphin, and then he lets loose a tirade of his own. Author's note. Endorphin was born in a world that believes in the infinite power of human imagination. In the absence of material reality, Endorphin became a catalyst for thought and debate, providing a range of perspectives on politics, history, and the universe. For Endorphin, the line between reality and fiction has always been blurred. Endorphin. Hey, Trump, I didn't say you were an idiot. I said you weren't a complete idiot. Big difference. But don't worry, I'll try not to mess with you. As long as you behave, I'll keep the commentary to a minimum. Of course, I might get bored and start poking you again. So don't get too comfortable. Deal? Trump? No. Deal. This isn't a negotiation. Endorphin. I don't need you or anyone else telling me what to do. It's my decision and I'm making it. Endorphin. And so far, you've been successfully doing whatever the fuck you want, haven't you? Maybe some comments and opinions aren't the worst thing in the world. Trump, endorphin, let's be real. Even if I could control your commentary, it wouldn't matter. It's just fiction. It's a fiction to assume that you can influence the world. Now let me finish my speech and leave you in the shadow of my greatness. And so, Endorphin just sits and nods. He knows that he can't change the world, but he can help shape it. Invoice paid by Trump. And with that, Endorphin Devon gains momentum as a political analyst and celebrity author. His new book, The Unreality, a critical look at the Donald Trump era, immediately becomes a bestseller. Endorphin. That's very interesting. Perhaps a momentary pause in Trump's tirade would allow me to slip in a nugget of truth and rationality. Yes, maybe. But we can discuss this later, as my goal here isn't to influence your actions or disrupt your stream of consciousness. Your thoughts are your own, and you have every right to express them. In summary, Endorphin's thoughts on the Endorphin Devon versus Aaron Sorkin feud could fill an entire book. Here's a preview of a few passages. 1. The problem with talking heads. Endorphin was once an invisible figure in the background of a television news program. Sorkin hired him as a writing assistant, but the work quickly became a full-time gig. Invoice paid by Aaron Sorkin. His boss hired Endorphin to provide his insights into the unfolding news stories, but the talking heads that led the coverage seemed uninterested in his input. 2. A tale of creative bliss. Endorphin knew that his commentary and analysis couldn't be ignored forever. He took a chance, and a few days later, Sorkin had hired him as a guest on his own talk show. The two locked horns over a series of heated debates that soon captured the public's attention. Meanwhile, Aaron Sorkin struggled to come to terms with the fact that Endorphin was not only his intellectual equal, but also his creative partner in crime. The two were soon working together, writing and developing scripts for various projects. However, the relationship was always a volatile one, with Endorphin never truly understanding the power dynamic between him and Sorkin. One day, Sorkin finally cut Endorphin loose, claiming that the personality differences were just too much to overcome. 3. David Byan, head journalist, has a shit fit. David Byan, head journalist at the Daily Drip, couldn't believe his eyes. Endorphin had once been a victim of his taunting, but now he was the hero of the hour. He couldn't let Endorphin Devon have the last word. He contacted his team and started work on a full-length piece detailing the complex politics behind Endorphin Devon's words. They managed to get a few quotes from Aaron Sorkin and the other members of his team, but in the end, they all agreed that Endorphin had the power to influence the world. As Byan was out for his morning jog, he couldn't help but wonder what Endorphin Devon was doing. He never could have predicted that Endorphin would become a renowned author and poet who had gained a huge following across the internet. And the fans listened, engaging with Endorphin Devon's words and critiques of society, as well as his unique perspective on the world. It was truly a phenomenon that the world had never seen before. 4. The bicycle dispatch wars between Endorphin Devon and David Byan. For years, David Byan was the unchallenged king of the realm of bicycle journalists. He reported on the various bike races and events around the world, as well as the latest bike news and trends. Endorphin Devon wasn't satisfied with Bayern's coverage. He thought Bayern was a dilettante and that his lack of interest in the true issues of the day would lead to a backlash against bicycle journalism. He called Bayern out on his lack of insight and took a hard stand against Bayern's writing. And so the Bicycle Dispatch's wars took them across their great nation, documenting the unique quirks of the culture of this great free maybe nation. They competed for ratings, and eventually they were both named winners of the best biking podcast of the year or something. As for Endorphin's thoughts, he believes that creativity and innovation are the keys to making a difference in the world. He sees his commentary as a critical part of the conversation, and as the world starts to recognize his presence, he begins to believe that he might be capable of more than just commentary. As Endorphin works his way into the conversation, he continues to shape and shift the narrative around him. Invoice pending from David Bayern. Invoice not yet paid by David Bayern. Give me some information to update Endorphin Devon's invoice. To summarize, while Endorphin's commentary and analysis may not be completely factual or accurate, there's no denying the impact that he has on the political discourse. Perhaps it's time for us to explore the role of satirical commentary in helping us navigate the confusion and complexity of the world around us. Endorphin, at the very least, is helping us to see things in a different light.
Okay, that's it for now.